Oops, dropped your laptop off the balcony, my sister said, after I refused to lend her $8,000. Mom just shrugged. It's only a computer. Don't overreact. I kept quiet. That night, I logged in, shifted a few accounts, and finalized some payments. At 6:43 a.m., she opened her banking app, only to nearly collapse at what had disappeared. $8,000, Nolan. $8,000. And you're saying no? Mara's voice shook the whole room. She was standing by the balcony door, her chest rising and falling like she'd just run a marathon. On the floor below, my laptop lay in shattered pieces, screen cracked, keys scattered like teeth knocked out of a jaw. She had dropped it seconds ago, smiling like it was nothing. Dad slammed the table so hard the plates rattled. Enough! Enough screaming in this house! His face was already red, his veins showing on his neck. Mom, arms folded, leaning against the counter, sighed. It's only a computer, Nolan. Why do you look like somebody died? Don't overreact. The air was tight, like the whole house was holding its breath. My hands were clenched, not from anger, but from stopping myself from saying too much. Mara's eyes cut into me. Go on. Tell them. Tell them where you really get your money. Because it's not just from your job. The room went still. Even Dad stopped fuming. My name is Nolan Rains, 26 years old. The one nobody listens to, unless they need something. I'm not loud like Mara. I'm not commanding like Dad. I'm not guilt-tripping like Mom. I've always been background noise. Easy to blame, easy to ignore. Over the years, I learned something. Silence protects you. People underestimate the quiet one. They think silence means weakness. But silence can also mean patience. I've swallowed every insult, every blame, every moment of humiliation in this house. And all the while I've been watching. And what Mara just accused me of? It wasn't a wild guess. She had seen cracks in the wall, and she was terrified of what might slip through. Because I carry truths none of them are ready to face. Family members introduced. Mara, 23. Loud, entitled, always needing. She knows how to twist tears into weapons. If she wants something, the whole house has to stop until she gets it. Dad, Russell, 52. Always on edge, always one step away from blowing up. He works hard, but he never misses a chance to remind us that everything we have is because of him. Mom, Evelyn, 49. She doesn't yell like Dad, or cry like Mara. She sighs. She shrugs. She makes you feel guilty without raising her voice. She plays peacekeeper, but deep down, she knows who she sacrifices. Uncle Dean, 57, Dad's brother. He showed up last night for a visit, and somehow he ended up with a front row seat to this family circus. He sat there now, whiskey glass in hand, smirking like this was entertainment. Mara slammed a cabinet door. I'm not the selfish one. Nolan hides things. Nolan keeps secrets. Uncle Dean chuckled softly. And yet, it's always his stuff that ends up broken. The way Mom's eyes flicked toward Dad told me she was hiding something too. Dad jabbed a finger at me. Your sister asked for help. A real man helps family. You're sitting on money while we struggle. Mom's voice followed, sharp but shaky. You're not married, no children, no mortgage. What are you even saving for? You don't need it like she does. My lips almost curved into a laugh. Saving? Every paycheck, every side job, every late night, not to build a castle for myself. But because I've been plugging the holes they left. Bills, loans, quiet transfers no one asked me about, but I covered anyway. I didn't say it. I just looked at Mara's shaking hands as she lifted her glass, looked at Mom's darting eyes, looked at Dad's clenched jaw. They weren't fighting over fairness. They were circling around a bigger truth, something they all knew but didn't want spoken. And Mara's words, tell them where you really get your money, were more than anger. They were fear. The shouting grew louder, like waves crashing against the walls. Mara snapped, You've always given him everything! He's your golden boy! Dad roared back, "Golden boy! Nolan! He's done nothing for this family! I carried you all," while he sat back counting his little savings. Uncle Dean finally spoke, swirling the ice in his glass. "Funny. From what I've seen, Nolan's been the only one working 2 jobs. Maybe you just didn't notice." The air froze. Even Mara stopped mid-breath. I leaned forward finally, my voice steady, quiet but sharp. "You know what I've learned tonight? You all fight with noise. I fight with silence. And silence is a lot more dangerous than shouting." The way Mara's eyes darted away told me they felt that danger. 17, the night Mara stole Dad's car. She crashed into a mailbox, panicked, and came running home crying. When Dad came storming out, Mara pointed at me. "Nolan took the car." I said nothing. Not because I was guilty, but because speaking didn't matter in this house. My word never weighed as much as hers. I paid for the repairs with money I'd saved from working at the grocery store. I even stood there while Dad shouted, spit flying, "You're reckless. You'll never be anything." The smell of gasoline. The scrape of metal. The sound of Mara's muffled sobs behind her door while I carried her guilt. And she never admitted the truth. Not then. Not now. But when I looked at her tonight, the guilt in her eyes was loud enough to hear. The fight twisted when Uncle Dean finally leaned forward. "Russell. Evelyn. Maybe Nolan doesn't hand money to Mara because he already handed plenty to you too." The whole room stilled. Dad's face turned crimson. Mom's mouth fell open. Mara looked between them, confused. "What is he talking about?" "Talking." I exhaled slowly, finally letting the silence break. "They've been draining my accounts for years. Bills, debts, excuses. Every time I covered it, hoping maybe it would buy me some respect. But it never did." The words landed like stones in water. Ripples of shock filled the room. And Mara, for once, had no comeback. Mom broke first, tears spilling, her voice high and desperate. "Nolan, we only did it to keep this family together. You're young. You'll make more. We just needed you." Dad's voice followed, sharp. "You owe us. Everything you are is because of us. Don't you forget that." Mara was shaking. "So all this time, you made me the villain while you stole from him." Her voice cracked. "Do you even love me?" I stood up slowly, my body calm, though my chest burned. "I gave you all my silence. Tonight, I give you the truth. Do what you want with it." Uncle Dean smirked, shaking his head. "About damn time someone in this house told it straight." I didn't storm off. That's what they expected. Instead, I bent down, picked up the broken shell of my laptop, and tucked it under my arm like it still mattered. Mom stumbled toward me, voice breaking. "Please, Nolan, don't walk out like this. We can fix it." I turned to her. "I've been walking out my whole life. You just never noticed, and you can't fix something you never tried to see." Her sobs followed me, but they didn't chain me anymore. For the first time, my steps weren't heavy. They were free. Weeks passed. Mara sold off jewelry just to stay afloat. Dad avoided my calls, maybe out of shame, maybe pride. Mom sent long texts, half apologies buried in excuses. And me? I worked. I saved. Not for them, not to fill their holes. For myself? I didn't hate them. I didn't need to. Hate weighs too much. I'd carried their weight long enough. Silence had once been my survival. Now it was peace. And maybe peace is the only revenge worth keeping. If you were in my place, would you forgive, or would you walk away forever? Drop your answer in the comments. Your voice matters here. If you felt Nolan's pain and strength, like this video so others can find it. And subscribe, because each story we share is not just about betrayal, but about survival, healing, and starting again. Sometimes the loudest truth is found in silence.